powerful sentence. It says a lot. Stories are not just entertaining. Rather, they help us to actually survive. They keep our souls alive. In discussing the power of storytelling with a group of interfaith chaplain students recently, I raised the question of what is going on that story is so vital for our lives. The group laughed as together we played with what acronym the word story might make. So STORY, and we came up with spiritual telling of relevant yarns. Yeah, it's good, right? It resonates. So when we share our spiritual journey, we're doing a spiritual telling of the relevant yarns of our lives. What is spiritual about this? Here at Open Circle, when members of the congregation share their stories periodically, why do we call these stories spiritual journeys? I'm working in hospice at the moment, so I've been finding much wisdom in the work of Christine Polkowski, a palliative care physician who has spent her life, her career, tending to those who are nearing the end of life. Dr. Polkowski describes spirituality as the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment. So the way we seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way that we experience our sense of connection to this moment, to ourselves, to others, to nature, and to the significant or the sacred. We can think of spirituality then as being about what is meaningful in our lives and how we feel connected in this world. I think that that's a working definition that many Unitarian Universalists can get behind. It leaves room for God or no God. God is not the relevant question in this definition of spirituality. In his sermon announcing that he was running for president of the Unitarian Universalist Association back in 2008, Peter Morales said that asking what do we believe isn't the center question for UUs. Rather, the relevant questions are, how do you live and how do you love? Spirituality, then, is about how we live with meaning and connectedness, and that those are the relevant questions. So, when I write my spiritual journey, I'm reflecting on what has given my life meaning and the connections that have held me. It's not just about reciting the events of my life. Remember how the facts of how the sandwich was invented didn't tell the story of its origin? A spiritual journey story is about reflecting on what lies beneath those events. When we share our spiritual journeys, we tell our stories from deep within, and we listen with a loving mind. And in doing this, we are doing spiritual tellings of relevant yarns. These are not incidental stories we share merely to distract ourselves or pass the time. We reflect back over our lives and weave the thread of meaning through the different chapters, the different phases of our lives, connecting the chapters together by revealing what is of essence in us. I think this is core to why we love the Spiritual Journeys Sundays, because we're revealing ourselves to one another, and so feeling more connected as we get to know one another more deeply. Sharing various stories from our lives is also what happens in the chalice circles. I've been struck by how many people here at Open Circle are part of these small groups. Small group ministry where people get together, 5, 8 people at a time, to investigate, to explore different topics together, really from the deeper places. And as we meet over the year and we share our stories together in these small groups with one another, we're building the fabric of our congregation. We're casting a web of care for the congregation as a whole. So it's not just about the people who are meeting, but we're actually weaving a web of care throughout the congregation. And it's transforming us from a collection of individuals to a community. In my chalice circle, we reflected this past month on the topic of journeys. The reading for that included a quote by poet Wendell Berry. "And the world cannot be discovered by a journey of miles, no matter how long, but only by a spiritual journey, a journey of 1 inch, very arduous and humbling and joyful, by which we arrive at the ground at our feet and learn to be at home." As we reflect on our spiritual journeys, we learn to be at home in our own lives. And looking at who and what we feel connected with, we learn where we belong. In telling our stories, we not let other people know us better, but we also get to know ourselves more deeply in the process. With every story told, our friendship becomes richer, and we create more meaning in our lives as well. That's the power of the spiritual telling of relevant yarns. So Jeff, if you'd play the song now, it's number 7. This is the Jim Scott one that I stood up and asked for him to play. It's one of my favorites, With Every Story Told.
Tell me of all things sacred, held to be true.